Hi guys, welcome back. Today what I've got here is our transom adapter and K-1 motor. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how easy it is to get that K-1 motor onto the transom adapter. And we have two different applications. We're going to install that transom adapter on a Kayak and also on an inflatable Scout 365. So let's get this guy open and let you know what's in there and go ahead and do the installation. All right, so what you'll have in your package is you'll have your transom adapter block, which is going to attach to your boat. You do have your tiller steering handle already on the adapter installed, pre-installed by us. And you do get two handles, some zip tie, an Allen key, and some nuts and bolts to secure your K-1 motor to the adapter. So we're going to go ahead and open this as well, lay this out, and then the next thing I'm going to do is install the motor onto the adapter. All right, so we have two options for handle length. We have a 12-inch and a 24-inch handle. So you can use either handle depending on your use case. If you need to reach further, obviously, the longer handle, the shorter handle. We do have one handle grip, so depending on what you choose, you can use that handle grip. So we're gonna use the short one for this installation. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that handle grip onto my shorter handle. If you're having a hard time getting this on here, a little bit of water or some rubbing alcohol will help you get this on here a little bit faster and easier. So there is our handle. So we're gonna use our short handle. We do have a set of nuts and bolts that ship with the adapter, also ship with your motor. So you can put your K-1 on there. If you need nuts and bolts for older motors, please check our website. You can purchase those on our website. And we do have an Allen key for later on adjusting the height of your motor or the depth of your motor in water. So we'll show you that as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the motor onto the adapter. But it is very simple. All you need is one screwdriver, your motor. Make sure your motor, especially on this adapter, is pointing in the right direction. So we have an adapter that's going to go like so with the wire running in. So I'm going to be pointing the motor forward like this. And once you do that, from there, it's fairly straightforward. We have two longer bolts that go in the front. And then we have two shorter bolts that go in the back. And we have four nuts that go on the other side to secure everything in. All right, it is that simple, guys. So now our motor is on our adapter. I don't know if you guys noticed, I did that very quickly, but there is a small spacer piece here that you do need to remove for this particular adapter. This piece is just a cosmetic piece essentially, and it's there for adapters that have a flat on like this, sub adapters and so on. So we're gonna put that aside and save it for later as well. There is a groove on these newer adapters where the cable sits in and it gets zip tied into the groove, so it's nice and flush. Well, we're gonna do that once we get this on our boat, so then we know how far up the pipe we wanna put this cable. So for now, we're just gonna leave the cable loose, but we are gonna secure the cable later with the zip ties that came with the adapter. All right, so the next thing we wanna do is we wanna get our handle on to the top. Again, you've got a hole here on this handle that goes in there, nice and easy. Should be able to find that hole there, there we go. And again, all you need for that is that Phillips screwdriver. It does help if you have something to hold this nut on this side as well to secure this. For now, I've got it on there, so we are good to go. All right. So the next thing is we're gonna get this onto our boats, show you guys how easy it is to install that on the boats, and adjust that cable height, put our zip ties on, and then we're good to go. So one of the things we recommend for kayaks that are otherwise very difficult to motorize is actually this Rail Blaza motor mounting plate. And Rail Blaza's got a really good system with their standard attachments here. And we've got two of these here where this guy is gonna clip into. There's one. It gets locked down, and here's two, and it gets locked down. So now what you've got here, and you can put this pretty much anywhere along the length of your kayak, you've got a motor mounting plate here now that you can put our transom adapter on. So we're gonna go ahead and put that motor right there. Really nice and easy. And you can install this either way. So once those two brackets are on your kayak, you can swing this plate and put it on the other side of the kayak if you want to do right-handed, or you can have it on this side, obviously, if you want to do left-handed. All right, so we've got a couple of things here I want to actually clarify a little bit more. So we do have two of these pipe clamps. You have a lower one and a higher one. The higher one we actually use only if you're using pull steering or other steering systems on this adapter. This adapter, you can remove this tiller steering and you can actually use pull steering or V-arm steering on here. And if you're using those, you're going to need this pipe clamp up here. So we're going to leave that alone right now because we're not going to be using it with the tiller steering. The tiller steering is simply just going to steer with that tiller arm. The second one is basically your lower limit for the motor. So what you want to do is you want to sort of measure where your motor is going to be in the water. In this case, it's a little bit too low. Really, that motor needs to be about 3 inches below water level. So if we pull it up, let's say to about there, okay, what we can do is we can adjust this clamp, this pipe clamp, so that becomes our lower limit for this adapter. So now if you open this, you're not going to fall below that and you'll be able to still steer. Whereas if you tighten this, you won't be able to steer anymore, and you'll only tighten this if you're going to use your rudder or something else to steer. So we're going to open this so you can now steer with this. The handle does store and come up to the back and get out of your way if you need to. And the last thing we're going to do is secure our cabling here into the pipe groove. So there is a piece there. And we've got the zip ties that ship with the adapter already. And I like putting 2 of them in there so it's nice and secure and out of the way. There's another one right there, just below the adapter line. And I've got clips here to cut that with. 1, 2. And then you can run your cable into your boat, to your battery, to your Bixpy battery, and you are set. You do have pull up here via this little tab that you push down. So you can pull your motor up if you're not motoring, and you can drop it back down, and you can also adjust it and have a bit of angle if you need to for some reason. But that's it, guys. It's that simple to motorize this kayak using our transom adapter, and in this case, we're also using the Rail Blaza motor mount plate adapter. One more quick thing I want to show you guys is the pole steering, which I mentioned. So if you're in a situation where your installation is taking your motor way back to the back of your boat, where you can reach back there, and even the longer tiller steering may just become a pain to swing back and forth, what you can do is you can install our pole steering and remove this tiller steering. So I'm going to go ahead, remove this tiller steering, and show you guys how to install a pole steering onto this pole. The first thing I'm going to do is take off my tiller steering. That's very easy. You've got 2 bolts here with 30mm Allen keys, and just take that off the top. Now, all of the systems we have, the power pole and the transom adapter, and also the universal kayak adapter, all use the same system on the top. So you can use any of these pole steering, tiller steering, or anything else that we sell on all of our adapters interchangeably. So I'm going to take that off. So there's our tiller arm. That's off now. I do have our pole steering here, so we're going to go ahead and open that, and I'll just give you a quick rundown of what this includes. We do have an Allen key in there. We're going to need that eventually to put that on there. We have our pipe clamp that will go onto our pipe that allows us to steer, and we have our broomstick handle adapter. That is to use a paintbrush or a broomstick to get in there and to use as your pole steering. Once I have this installed, I'll show you guys how that works. The first thing you'll notice on your transom adapter is that you'll have 2 pipe clamps. The top one is reserved for you to use when you want to put your V-arm or pole steering on your adapter. So I'm going to bring this one down. Let's say I want my pole arm to be there, and you can obviously adjust this to go up and down so it fits your setup. There is my adapter there that sits on there. This does ship with a zip tie that you want to get in there and tie down. And the zip tie is really just hold it in place temporarily so you can screw this on properly. So I'm going to go ahead and put that zip tie in there. It'll come out the other side. So now we've got the zip tie on here. So this is somewhat secure, but obviously it's wobbling everywhere. So now what we want to do is get that set of nut and bolts that came with this with the washer. Put that right through there, and we're going to secure this from the bottom. And the only tool you need for this is just some sort of pliers to hold that nut in place. So I've got, do have a pair of pliers here. I'm going to hold that there, and I've got my Allen key that's shipped with the adapter, and I'm going to be able to tighten this in place. Now this does only work with our systems, so you're not able to use this pole steering with other motors, unfortunately. This is a Bixpy only product. So now that we're in place, you can see that nut and bolt in place. This is nice and secure. We're going to just cut off the back of our zip tie there, so it's nice and clean. The last piece that remains is our broom handle adapter, which we're going to put right there. And you can put this from the top or the bottom, just depending on your setup and what you prefer. There is a nylon thread lock on this nut, so we're gonna just grab it. And you do want this to be nice and loose, so you're able to steer. Now with that in place, I can take my broomstick, and what I have now effectively is pole steering, which is very effective and useful if your motor is a little further back where you're not able to reach that tiller arm and steer that tiller arm. So now you have a way to really just have that pole sitting by your hand. You can bungee down if you want to stay in one place, and you can have it loose so you're able to steer, and you get really good 180-degree steering with this. All right, so we do have our transom adapter now on this Scout inflatable. This is a more typical installation of this adapter. You've got a boat already that's got this sort of vertical plate on the back. It's typical of what you'd find on some of the kayaks even, but definitely on inflatables, dinghies, and so on. This is what you're gonna get. So again, very simply, we've got our two big bolts here. We're gonna get on the back here. I'm gonna walk you guys through some of the details of this adapter too while we're on here. One more time, maybe some of it is a little repetitive, but nonetheless, we do have an adjustable trim on this adapter. So you can press this button. There is a spring activated system in there, and you can adjust your trim. So for this boat, you'll see that you can't be all the way to the back because the boat does have a bit of an angle. And of course, you can get it all the way up and out the water. There is a steering lock on here, but again, there's also this lock. This is the drop lock. Your arm does swing back and get inside the boat. There is this swing lock. If you want to lower the motor, you just simply open this and you set your lowest setting on this, tighten it, and then the motor will not drop beyond that. All right, and last but not least, we do have our PP378 battery here. We're gonna connect and just run the motor for a second to make sure we're all set. And there's our connection, there's our kill switch, and we do have our remote. We're just gonna run that at speed 1 for a second, and we're all good. So motor is running. We are ready to hit the water. There we go, there's the installation of our transom adapter on a couple of different kayaks, and generally getting the motor on there and some of the features of that adapter. Thanks for watching, and see you guys on the water.